Hey little cuties, Demi Bemi here, and welcome back to another collection design video. As you can see, today's video is pattern drafting and it's quite short. So to kind of explain that, pattern drafting is probably my least favorite part of the process. I would have to say that that's probably the main reason that any of my designs that I've made have not made their way into a fabric garment. It's a really long process, which also is kind of why this video is super short. It's a lot of just me measuring and drawing and taping and cutting, which isn't exactly titillating content. So I'm just going to kind of explain a little bit of what is going on here. I have my notebook of illustrations there in my flat designs, and I kind of started a couple of pattern pieces that I wanted to start making. I've got my 12 billion types of rulers. I have a pattern punch, I have tape and scissors, and I'm using a Sharpie for the sake of video so you can see what I'm doing. Typically I wouldn't use a Sharpie, I would just draw with pencil. And then I might outline it in like pen, like a lighter pen, not such a heavy pen. Anyway, so you'll notice that I'm tracing a lot, and what I'm tracing is actually called a sloper. And those are actually all of the pattern pieces that I have on the left side of the screen are my slopers. And a sloper is basically just an original template pattern piece, I guess is like the most concise way that I can explain it. So the purpose of those is to have like a prefab pattern that you can use to base every other pattern off of. And this pattern is not ever meant to be cut up or anything like that, whereas without going too much into detail, if you wanted to make a really full dress or like full pants or like a full top or something and like have more fabric, you'd have to like slice up your pattern, and you don't want to do that to your original. You want to keep that so you can keep using it over and over again. So that's kind of what's going on here, is I'm just tracing on my pattern pieces onto another paper so I can cut up and do whatever I need to do with the traced pattern piece. And I did actually have to use my trusty pattern book. It's probably saved my life so many times, and it's given me a lot of ideas, and I don't know, it's probably one of my favorite things. It's actually a textbook that I got during college. I'll probably link the textbook down below. Obviously not sponsored, not an affiliate link or anything like that. I just want to share with you guys my pattern book, and it's my favorite. So I did have to break that bad boy out for one of the knit tops, because in a knit top you do not need a dart, and my pattern pieces have darts. And that's an issue because I need it to be a tight fitting, or form fitting rather, garment. So that's kind of what's going on here. And for the most part, it's just measure, 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 trace, 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 cut, 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 a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And that's really just the main gist of it. And that's why this video is so short. I did, however, want to let you guys know that there is another form of pattern drafting called draping. And it's something I've actually never gotten to try before. So the difference between draping and pattern drafting is pattern drafting is using measurements and math to create a pattern piece, which you cut out of fabric and then you sew that and then put it on a person. Pattern drafting is taking the fabric, putting it on the dress form, and then pinning it and doing a couple different things, and then cutting out the fabric off of the dress form and then using that to make a paper pattern, if that makes sense. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into detail, but draping is something I haven't done before, and I recently got a new professional dress form, so I'm really excited about that. So I think I'm going to leave this here. There's really not too much else. It's literally just this for hours and hours and hours. I will leave a list of the tools that I used for pattern drafting, and I will leave a link for the pattern making book that I use. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. But again, as I will probably say a gajillion times over, I am not a professional. I can only give you the knowledge that I have. And if I'm incorrect in saying anything, please feel free to correct me. As always, I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. The next video should be a lot more interesting. I think I'm going to change up the format a little bit too. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out and being patient with the lack of videos that have been out. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you all next time. Bye!